Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Ask Me Anything Monday. I'm your host, Krista Inochovsky, and I have brought in as our very special guest today, the one and only Jay.
Dennis the Menace. No. Sorry. I'm making fun of my t-shirt, but anyway, carry on.
I thought no other guest would be more appropriate to bring on to be able to ask anything today than Jay and me, whatever we can do to help, as it is final countdown to Jvology Live. And we are very, very excited. The kickoff is Thursday night, and this is Monday, so we are just a couple of days away. And first of all, so incredibly grateful for the engagement that we have had in the community already. There's been a whole big pre-event momentum that's happening all around. And so anyway, I just wanted to make sure we say hello. We'll get to Jay in a second. He's multitasking. Just finish with your update. I'll keep talking.
I have my lunch. I have my coffee.
The main thing is, if you are watching this and viewing it from any other place than the original, go up and click that Jay's name at the top, that new picture of Jay with Lou. That will take you to the original podcast page, and that's where you can comment and send us your questions, and we'll be able to see your questions, see your comments, and throw them up on the screen and make this as interactive as possible. So with that, I'm going to play our intro and then invite our fabulous guest. All right, that's it. Jay, welcome.
Hey, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it when we have
welcome to my show.
I know.
You kind of gave me. So Jvology. Yeah, this has been such a fun show, the Ask Me Anything Monday. It's a chance where we get to showcase our incredible members. And we've gone through our mastery members and some global lounge members that really have committed to playing full out with us and giving them a space to showcase their businesses and what they're up to, and really add value to all of our viewers.
I have loved the shows, and it's fascinating to discover more and more about the people who are a part of our community. Like we have some literally rocket scientists, like geneticists, like just amazing backgrounds that without actually spending the time for the show, we would never have any clue.
Yeah. It's true. It really is a fun avenue to be able to kind of dive in deeper and find out more about what everybody's up to. And that's what makes our community so special, is how diverse that we are, both in, oh my gosh, like location. I've been doing these interviews for the very important partners, and just today alone, we had Anne is in Sweden.
Yep.
I'm talking to Ashraf, who's in South Africa. I mean, there's such a commitment, because they're going to have to turn their timetable and clock upside down for the next few days and really try to adapt to mountain time.
You know, I think one of the things we're going to have to do before we actually do the event is we'll have to go through and see who is from what countries, because I know that we've got Norway, like they're Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Australia. So it's a broad range. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today in terms of Jvology Live, which, by the way, I was just trying to share the show here on my main page. But I wanted to just talk about the world is becoming more and more flat and more accessible, and our market and our audience is no longer our region. It's frankly the world. And, if there's anyone watching who wants to really scale this idea of, how do I break into a new market? How do I get to the US? How do I access the Canadian market? How do I access the Mexican market? How do I, quite literally, our community, we have people from every single one of those areas. And I just want people to really get and see and to know that process is absolutely the fastest, easiest route to be in a JV community, to be at,
Somebody talking to you there?
I am, actually. It's looping through and was coming back to me. It's like, oh, I have enough voices in my head. I don't need to hear me again. There we go. I think I got it fixed. All right. Give me 1 second to figure out my technical difficulties for a brief memento.
Yeah, it's kind of the fun of going live, but to try to go live, be present, and make sure you're sharing and commenting and all of those things at the same time is a bit daunting. That's the cool thing for those of you who don't know for the live event that's coming up starting Thursday afternoon, is this is not just Jay sitting at his desk with his stellar new podcast microphone. It is actually going to be produced with cameramen and different scenes and settings so that you are entertained, right? It's a big factor, and we're well aware of it. We want to make sure that you as an attendee are enjoying the full experience, and it's not just like you're making yourself sit through hours and hours of staring at another Zoom. But really taking it to above and beyond the next level of engagement and entertainment, and put a lot of time and effort into creating the schedule and the agenda, and how often we're throwing you into groups to meet new people, and how often Jay is teaching, and then how to take mindful breaks together. So we really have it sorted out for an overall fantastic experience for everyone. So hold on to your hats. It's gonna be fun.
Well, and just to put that in perspective, I was doing a production meeting with the crew, and it looks like we're going to be primarily using 3, possibly 4 different sets. There's 5 camera men. There's the opportunities for teaching, the breakout sessions where you get to craft and master your JV invitation just on their own. That's going to knock the socks off of people in terms of their access that they're going to get. But I just, as it gets closer, I just get more and more excited. It's like 1 more sleep, 2 more sleeps. We are going to knock it out of the park. And I guess the other part to that, because I know that we're going to end up having a bunch of people who have seen Jvology before, who might think it's like, well, I don't have to worry about it for me. But here's the honest God truth. We have radically new content. We have a radically new let's call it teaching and experience process called our partner creation box. In fact, I was going to try and show some of the pictures, because didn't you just do a great post that aggregated a bunch of the unboxing things? I would love for us to share that while we're talking about it. Okay,
and I would gladly show mine to you, but I haven't received it. I'm expecting it in today's mail.
I know every time Lou is barking at the door, I run to the door. It's like, is it here? But I don't know how that goes getting across the border and all that fun stuff, but we'll soon find out. So here's the thing that I just want to let people know is that even if you've seen Jvology before and you think you've got an abundance of partners and you're all good, the truth is you should attend again. You're going to hear things differently. There's certainly an entirely new group of people from all over God's green earth, and the experience of connection with other people is going to be significantly more powerful than it's ever been before. And in fact, with our new partner page, the VIPP partner page, truthfully, people have been getting partners from that page since last week, and the event hasn't even started yet, which is like, that's pretty tough to beat. Anyway, if you can't tell, we're a little bit excited about it.
Yeah, taking advantage of the very important partner page it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is giving all the attendees, all of you, a chance now to scroll through and start to meet and make connections, and making note of who is a good fit for you and who you want to make sure is on your radar, that you get in a breakout room with, that you meet on a break, and make sure that you're intentional with those connections. Because I've heard from other people who do online events where they're like, well, I'm not really sure if I met everybody I needed to meet. And so by us doing this and giving you kind of a heads up a week ahead of time to get to say, all right, who's going to show up, who's playing, and who do I need to meet now? It's got people really excited.
All right. So I put the special link that you and I discussed. So I just want to give people some background. So here's the thing. We're sitting somewhere in the, hey, Jason, good to see you. We're sitting somewhere in the, because it keeps moving like mad, about 135 people that are registered for the event. This week, all of our last minuters who we told to register earlier are coming out of the woodwork. That's all I've done all morning long, is been in conversation and connection with folks who are in that spot. But here's what we did. For all the people who had actually purchased the ticket, we gave them the ability to give one ticket away for $1. And that gets you a regular seat. You get to come and do all those pieces. If you want to do the partner creation package, that there's a hard cost of that, which is $49. So even for $50, you get all of the swag, all those things. But you can come do it for $1. So we gave everyone who purchased a ticket the ability to do that. Bring a guest, do it at our expense, as a way in which we can go first and contribute and say, hey, this is what we do. If you like it, that'd be awesome. But Chris and I were talking. It's like, well, you know what? We got a week left. All the rest of it, in terms of what our cap is on the room, we believe that we can make space for 10 more of those. So we can do 10 at $1. When you do that, just to be clear about this, if you want to get the partner creation package, which honest to God, you should, it's a cool physical package. It's got a wine glass, it's got a workbook, it's got a game board, it's got a there's a whole bunch of things that are going to help you with this process. You should get that package, frankly. But if you want, there it is. We're going to let this, I think we'll let this piece run. This video will run until those 10 pieces, those 10 spots are gone. And then we'll have to just hide the video.
Yeah. So grab it now. If you've been talking to a friend and they're kind of dragging their feet, or a colleague, or someone that you would like to potentially be your JV partner, but you don't want to explain to them what JVing is, invite them. Let them learn from Jay. Let them learn from the best. And then, like, hello, now we can join venture because we really both understand it. So those are the people you can circle back to and go, hey, look, but now's the time. You can't beat it.
Jay's in his second home in San Diego. Look, I wish that were true. I'm actually in Calgary. We're going to actually broadcast this whole thing from my house. Our production team is coming, I guess it's Wednesday night, to take over the house. I have no idea how all will fit, but it's happening anyway. But no, I'm actually in Canada for that process. One of the things I wanted for us to talk about, in terms of taking advantage of that offer and all of the pieces, is this. In the process of joint venturing, I cannot tell you how many times, and this happens every single time we do Jvology Live. This happens in our Global Lounge every single time we go through a couple of events at Global Lounge. It's like, I want to talk to Bob, who is my perfect upstream partner, but Bob doesn't sort of get what's going on here, and what do I say to Bob? And truly, the easy, simple answer to that is, don't. Like, for the most part, they're going to see that. For the most part, they're going to see it, or they're not going to see that. The easiest route to get people engaged in that process is for them to make 100% sure to bring them to the event. It's one of the reasons we have so many people who come back time and time again. It's like, okay, I understand it. Now I'm going to bring some folks. Like, I'm thinking of Natasha, for example. She literally brought people to the Jvology Live in Nashville. I was going to say about a year. With this COVID thing, things are even more of a time warp than so. Let's call it a year and a bit. But she had people from France, Saudi Arabia, England, Germany, Chile, and I'm missing a couple of places on top of that. But that just happens time and again. So you could just save yourself a step, and it's like, look, I'm going to do this. You should do it. It's from the comfort of your couch, for crying out loud. Get your ass in there and get it done.
And that's what's been really powerful, is when people come and they bring their tribe with them. I mean, Alina Vincent is a perfect example of that. You two have a beautiful joint venture partnership relationship. And so many people that are in our high level community, they're like, oh, well, I came from Alina. And, and it's strengthening her program and what they're doing with her, because now more of them have this context of joint venture, and it elevates everybody. So think about what you are doing, who your tribe is, and how adding this knowledge of joint ventures, also affiliate marketing, building relationships to reach more people, and this idea of pivoting your business. If any of those are resonating with you or your tribe, then bring them along, because the more that you all know and have a common language, the more you can do together in your own world.
Without a doubt. I was thinking we should probably talk a little bit about, and by the way, I don't think it's 10 anymore. I think it's 6. No, pardon me. I can't. That didn't come from this. That was different orders. I think it's 8. So if you're going to do that, for crying out loud, you should do that. Now, the next piece that I wanted to share about this is what happens for people. So I had a really great little conversation this morning in terms of, again, the last minuters. My dear friend Mary Frances, and she was just talking about what transpired in her world for getting her retreats up and running, and how the Jvology community and being featured in the Jvology community and being on one of our live streams in the past and all those pieces really made a monumental difference for her. And the thing that I want people to understand is that sometimes they think of joint venturing, those sorts of things, in really the purely digital marketing space, where it's like, great, I can get somebody to mail my offer and those sorts of things. And Mary Frances is just to me a tremendous example of, she is a registered nurse, a massage therapist, a sommelier, a women's retreat leader, soon to be certified registered sexologist. The woman's got some skills. As I hit my microphone, she's but almost.
I like how you mentioned that she has skills after her newest endeavor.
I was referring to the range, just to be clear. I was referring to the range.
Nothing gets past me.
Yes, exactly. She used to have a Facebook show called Wild Women and Wine.
Wild
Women and Wine.
Wild Women, yes.
Yes.
And she would share the wine with the conversation as a sommelier. It was a great show.
Yes, I love that. But it's a good example for her because she wasn't really digitally set up. Like there wasn't this big online program or a ton of freebie online things. Like, she built her joint ventures very much face-to-face, heart-to-heart, hand-to-hand, filled a room here in Calgary with about 50 women that then became the foundation of her retreats and a bunch of her other offerings. So I think that it's just important when people, I think, trying to figure out which way I'm supposed to go to be center. There we go. When people get thinking about JVs, that this can be absolutely high-tech in the digital marketing world. It can be low-tech in terms of handshakes and hugs. It can be, almost no tech, like here's a coupon, and if somebody shows up with a coupon, I mean, we can do it in a multitude of different ways. And if you're at home going, it's like, I don't know if JVs could work for me because I'm a bricks and mortar or I'm at this and that. It's like, here's the honest God truth, is that joint ventures have been working since the beginning of time. We have to start thinking about it differently so we can bring that to our business structure. And, anyway, it was a great conversation. It's like, God, she's a sharp, cool woman. Like, I really, really like her.
She is. And as you mentioned, she's a great example of people who've been in the community for years. And I've been having those conversations again with doing these interviews of people that, so many, I'm like, yeah, it was awesome. We were all together in San Diego in February and they're back again. Or it's been several years. And the reason that I hear our tribe say that they keep staying in and keep coming to the live event is that the community grows with them as you learn, and then you implement, and then you grow and you implement. But when it's all about relationships, and they've built such strong relationships that's nothing you ever want to leave. And then you're in a space to keep learning and meeting more people that are similar. And so they don't want to leave that. Or if you're pivoting, like we've mentioned, a lot of people are having to make a change or deciding to make a change now more than ever. And so this helps you kind of go back to the basics.
Yeah,
so the whole thing, from your training, your framing, helping people implement, and the community itself grows with you no matter what stage you are in this joint venture world.
In fact, we got to talk about the stages. That's one of the changes in the content, which, by the way, I just need to address James here. By the way, if you're sitting at home and you want to just meet cool people, James will be at Jvology Live. He is one of our joint venture master members, and he has a good sense of humor. And I just want to warn you, James, to be perfectly clear, if this pandemic goes on like another 90 days, I'm going to be doing these things nude. and then people will flee from the community. It's like, good God, no.
I remember that the first mobile lounge call that James was on, and he's like, is Jay drinking wine? Like, it was like this moment of confusion and curiosity and everything at once. And then you give it a couple of weeks, maybe a month.
And he's drinking wine every single time.
I was like, all right, James, you're a true Jvology and whatever that word is. So we're having a good time.
You never know until you try something. Ain't that the truth?
Right? That's
okay.
the shit.
I made a mistake, but I thought that Jay lives in San Diego and has office down the street. Jason, you have me completely confused with a guy named Christian Michelson, who used to live in San Diego with a house down the street, but he moved, and in fact, Christian was the very first joint venture community that I ever participated in, but they recently moved to Puerto Rico. So yeah, you got me confused. Of the two, I'm the better looking. Okay, going back. Some of the jokes are just for me. So going back to the stage of development, this is something that we've received ideas and feedback and conversations around for a while, which is in the joint venture space, there's sort of different evolutionary stages. And one of the things that we're doing at this Jvology Live that will help people tremendously is to self-identify and to be able to communicate that to our potential partners where we're at in the joint venture development stages. So there's three fundamental categories. I'll give you the chapter titles. We'll actually dive into what they mean at Jvology Live. But the first of which is eager and willing. And in a nutshell, the eager and willing folks are at the beginning of their journey. They're still refining, sometimes exactly what it is that they're offering in terms of their product service experience. They're still trying to get that first 5 or 10 testimonials that say, Bob's a rock star. And they're trying to get, what I would call the wheels on the bus. Now, here's the thing about this. I want to be very clear that sometimes people who are, a couple of stages down, it's like, oh, good God, I don't want to deal with those people still trying to figure it out. Here's the honest goodness truth. The eager and willing folks are sometimes your best JV partners because number one, they try harder. Number two, they don't have necessarily a monumental list, but the clients, the friends, the people that they connect you to are people that they have these real relationships with because that's where they're starting from. And often their referrals and their joint ventures perform better than somebody who's like, great, I can send an email or I could, any of those pieces. So paying attention to the eager and willing folks is wise. And the other part to that is there's always a couple of rising stars. Like in every single event we've ever done, I can see people and it's like, I'm going to be eating that person's dust in a very short span of time. And it happens.
All the components are together. They just didn't know the magic formula. And then they grab that from you, take action. It's those that are not afraid to just do it. Put it all together and then boom, and it just explodes for them, which is really exciting.
Well, to me, a good example of that is the event where you and I met at Krist and Schiffer Thompson's, and Alex Moscow was there as well. And so that was the very first time we met Alex. Alex came and sponsored one of our Mastermind Millions. Then he came to Jvology Summit, and he is just knocking it out of the park, like so good.
He is, he's doing so great. So great, I said.
Yeah, so eager and willing. Mm-hmm. There's tons of opportunity there. And at the same time, we also get to manage our expectations of, so how far along are they? How long will it take for this to get, we're not, how do I put it? We're not, we're not making our retirement plans generally on the backs of the people who are eager and willing trying to figure that stuff out, but there's still tremendous opportunity there.
Yes. And you also have to just start making those JV partnerships. You never really know. And if you try to identify it first and judge and go, well, they're probably not this, or she's probably better at that, then you're gonna miss out. It's a matter of just diving in, making the relationships and getting going. And sometimes people will surprise you on either side. Maybe it's their offer and who they are resonates better with your audience. You never know. So it's like we had a part of the roadmap talking about don't prejudge somebody based on the size of your list. Don't start the conversation with, hi, how big's your list?
Yeah.
Because that's not going to go well.
Particularly not in our world. There are places where you can get away with that. In our world, it'd be like, it won't go well. So then the next category is what we would call in process, which means that the offer is done. It is fundamentally proven. There's still some tweaks going on. Maybe there's some personalizing of swipe or promotional copy. There's an adjustment coming to a webinar, but it's all there. And if I said, yes, I would promote you in 24, 48 hours, you'd have what I needed to me and I could go do my job for you. So that's the middle category. And that's probably where most of the people are in Jvology Live, in that middle category, raring to go in the process of refining and improving conversions and they're, taking the referral or the lead or the opt-in or the person into a process that really works in terms of converting, that benefits the client, the partner, and themselves, of course. And then there's what I will call the ready pros. That's like, hey, here's the dates. Here's my stats. Been doing this for, a day or two. It's not my first canoe trip. Go to my partner page, get registered, and you'll have everything that you need in 13 seconds. And we have all three of those. And there's beauty and benefit to every single one of them. And I think the important part is, number one, identifying truly where you're at. Number two, communicating that clearly in an articulate manner. And then coming with whatever the stages you are and playing full out and living into our stand of a joint venture is a game of I'll go first. And the two greatest words in the English language, hi there. Well put, brother. Well put. If we cannot open that conversation, nothing's going to happen.
I just was doing an interview with Strickland Bonner of Turnkey Podcast, who is on our tribe.
I love those guys.
We're launching podcasts, and that's exactly what Strickland was saying. He's like, and I'm sure they were doing it already, but he's like, when we saw the J led with I'll go first, and that is the culture and mantra of Jvology, they're like, okay, how can we go first? And they went first in a big way.
Holy.
And what do we have, like over 20 Jvology members launching podcasts tomorrow? I mean, this is so awesome.
I have no idea what the number is. Did he tell you it's over 20? Is that what?
I think that's where it landed. We had 30 go through the program together, which you were a part of, and you're one that's launching tomorrow.
Yeah, like I was boggled.
Nothing else to do.
I know, and in the midst of all of this, because and this just goes back to that I'll go first piece, is that for when they decided to do that, which was just an incredible contribution. And by the way, I just want to do a little sidebar to this so that people can make sense of this. So Doug and Strickland joined our Joint Venture Mastery Program, which is our premium one-year program where we do our very best to hold your hand, feature you in front of our community, serve and support and connect you as much as possible. So they said they were developing a new program. They wanted some feedback on it, and they gave it for free to everybody in our program, which, just because it's a $1,000 program. And I don't know how many people they thought were going to do it, but there was a hell of a lot more than I thought were going to. and they delivered this incredible program. And it's just such a phenomenal tool for joint ventures, because one of the things we're going to work on at Jvology Live a lot is this thing called resources and platforms. And it is a way in which we can live into this. A JV is a game of I'll go first. And the truth of the matter is that if I don't have something to share with, if I don't have something to contribute with, if I don't have something to give, it's hard to go first. And a podcast is just such a phenomenal opportunity. And for them to come and literally set us up with 20 plus podcast platforms that we get to feature at Jvology Live. Like, here's the other things. Like, if you're considering this, should I do that $1 offer? You know what? You could leave with 15 podcast interviews booked that will make you, quite frankly, if you're prepared, $15,000. Like that's the it's just so freaking outstanding. But anyway, it's a little sidebar to that. So I've been resisting a podcast now for about 7 years. And I even have, for my mastermind brand, I have like 9 episodes in the can that I've recorded in terms of interviews, and like great interviews, strong people that I've not actually published because it was like, son of a bitch, I don't want one more thing to have to do and to keep up with. So I set it aside. And then with their support, and as we got all these things together, it was like, you know what? the truth is with the Jvology show, I'm already doing probably 90% of it. We just need to structure it better and distribute it better and get those things out into the world in a more meaningful manner. So anyway, that's just one example of the number one, the quality of the people, number two, the contribution to the community, and the real results that happen. Because I mean, they joined Joint Venture Mastery at the end of February in San Diego. So here we are, March, April. Like in 3 months, 20 podcasts spawned simply through participating in the community, of which Michelle, I see your note. Michelle, she has her podcast up. Brad has his podcast up. Krista, James has his podcast up. Did Jessica, I don't know if Jessica, or did she pause her?
Because I don't know where her picture's not showing up.
She's incognito.
She's incognito. Jessica, get your picture back up there. And the other cool thing that I think about is for all of our mastery members, you know, they bought, they joined, they committed, having no idea this is going to be added. Like you don't know until you're in and seeing the contribution that comes from the fellow members. So there's so much value added throughout the Jvology experience. And you know, Jay, you are known for over delivering. Like people always, I hear it time and time again, they always get more than bargained for. And so that, you know, when it comes down to this, if you want to be in this last couple people to grab this for $1, it couldn't be more of a no-brainer ever.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the other part to this, you know, one of the things that we teach at Mastermind to Millions, and we do our very best to live into and exceed, is this idea of, if we're going to come up with a price point, what is the delivery that is 10 times that price point, that no matter what transpires, people will have a meaningful and significant and astounding experience. And we do our very best to live into that. And just the way that sort of generosity unfolds is freaking magical. And I never cease to be amazed and thrilled and pleased by how that unfolds.
Yeah. Sure.
What else should we tell them before we wrap this thing up and we get back to work on actually getting the 12 billion details of doing a course in a way it's never been done before, online like we've never done before, and all of the other pieces?
I mean, I feel like we've covered it. It's just a matter of saying, for everyone who's already committed and they're in, grab somebody else, grab a friend, help shift their world like this has shifted yours, and
come play.
Add some value.
Yes. It is going to be awesome. All right. So thank you for having me on your show. I truly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Absolutely. We'll be back next Monday with another fabulous guest. I believe we have Monica.
Oh, nice. From New Zealand.
No.
Monica Bijou.
Monica Bijou. Oh, she is a smarty pants and a half.
Yes.
And very, committed to her goal, her mission, to sharing, to showing up big. And I'm really excited to have her on.
And if my memory is correct, she's like a 5'2" ball of fire. And she was actually a sergeant in the Army.
I, at this point, wouldn't be surprised, but I'll have to dig in deep. That's a question we can ask on Ask Me.
And as a Canadian, by the way, I have no clue what that actually means, except seeing it in movies where it's like they're always like, but I can just I can see her on a little step stool getting up in the face of somebody. She's a powerful woman. That's awesome. So let me see if we missed any comments or anything. I think we're in pretty good shape. I didn't get my podcast up, busy doing some certifications with a lovely woman who I met at Jvology Live back in September. Awesome.
Oh, Michelle said she's a captain.
She's a captain. Okay. So I think the captain is more subtle. She just tells the Sarge to yell. I have no idea how that works.
All right. Last time, I'm going to throw this link up on the screen. If you are attending, invite a friend for $1. Get that done now. And for those of you who haven't received your partner creation package in the mail, fingers crossed, it may be showing up today or sometime in the next couple of days. And when you get it, do an unboxing, take a picture, show it off, throw it on Facebook. We've had a lot of fun with it so far.
on that note, I was going to just say one other thing about this. This idea of contribution and generosity. Part of the reason and why we gave everybody who purchased a ticket and they spent $397 or $197 the capacity to give one away is that we want our participants, even before they get to know who the hell really we are in many cases, to be able to live into that idea of, as a joint venture partner, I'll go first. That's the whole purpose behind this. And going back to our conversation about platforms and resources, Krista, is that sometimes people haven't really thought about what that platform or resource is or how that might be able to work for them. So this was just one of those ways of, look, we'll help you to go first and we'll give you the thing to actually go first with, and you get all the benefit of all of those pieces as well down the road. So if I were you, I'd grab one of those things, PDQ, which that might be a Saskatchewan. That's my mother's words, which is pretty damn quick. And we'll see you at Jvology Live.
All right. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye.